All right, folks, welcome to probably the last video here for this ACT prep. In this video, starting at 48, ABC cabs and taxi and Tari taxi cabs both have initial rates as a whole number of dollars for one passenger. Then it increases the number of miles traveled by a whole dollar. Okay. When the fares of the two cabs are compared, what is the cheaper rate for a 5-mile trip? So what you do, got a little step function here, add 5 miles. So from when you get to like 4.99 miles, it jumps to $12. Here, when you get from 4.99, it jumps up to what, $9. So it's $9 is the cheapest for a 5-mile trip. 49, not 94. Okay, 3-line segments. What does it have here? What is the area of the region bounded by the graph y equals f of x, the positive y-axis and the positive x-axis? Okay, so got 3 different regions. I broke up 1, 2, 3. This right here is a rectangle, area of region 1. You go 3 and up 3. 3 by 3 is 9. Then region 2 here is a triangle with this starts at 3, this ends at 5. So the base is 2, the height is 3, 1/2 base times height. That area is 3. Then, let's see, area of region 3 right here. Okay, you have a triangle with a base of 2. Because this is at 2, 3, so you went 2, you're up 3. This is at a height of 4, so it has a height of 1. 1/2 base times height, that's an area of 1. 9 plus 3 plus 1 is 13. All right, again, these are not on the easy side once you get above 40. Some of the 2 positive numbers is 151. This is guess and check. This is a harder one. Okay, I would not try any algebra here. X is equal to 19 plus the square root of y. X plus y is equal to 151. No, thank you. So the lesser number is 19 more than the square root of the greater number. Okay, so I'm going to be working with a perfect square because you take the square root and you get a nice number. So what are your perfect squares? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, dot, dot, dot. Look at that, 121. Okay, so 30 plus 121 is 151. First off, you're always given the answers. Look at that, 121. Take the square root of 121, you get 11. All right, 30 plus 121 will give you 151. Notice how 30 and 11 differ by 19. Okay, so what is the value of the greater number minus the lesser number? Goodness, it has you to do a lot. 121 minus 30. I would not do algebra. I would do guess and check. Okay, that's a hard one. The list of those numbers has a median of 25. The mode is 15. The mode is the most frequent. Okay, so that is telling you that one of these numbers has got to be 15. If the mode is 15, currently there is no mode here, so one of these two has to be 15. All right, so I don't know, let x be 15. So that means you have 15, 15. The median is 25. Now, if you order this other 3, you have 30, 35, 41. When you have an even amount of numbers, then the median is these 2 in the middle. So what? 25 is the middle of what 2 numbers? 20 and 30. Okay. And then what's the mean of the whole list? So after you did all that sweet work, you're like, oh, it's got to be 20. Nope. Add them all up. Divide. Add them all up. 156. Divide by 6. You get 26. So that question is making you work a little bit for sure. You are given the following system of equations. Okay, so first off, if y is equal to x squared, then you have rx plus x squared y is equal to t. Move t over, put the x squared first. X squared plus x minus t, you have s and r there. Quadratic formula, which of the following, for which of the following will there be more than one solution? So this is the quadratic formula here. X equals negative b. This is b. plus or minus square. But more than one solution means you want that to be greater than 0. So b squared, I say s was b? S is not b. B is what's attached to the middle term. B is right there. So r squared minus 4 times a, which is s, times c, which is a negative t. A negative times a negative is a positive, so it's this one right here, greater than 0. Okay, it's got to be greater than 0. If it's less than 0, the discriminant is what it's called, is less than 0, then you have two imaginary solutions. So it can't be h, j, and k. It's got to be that one. That is and also, b is the middle term, so it's got to be r squared. So you can help yourself out there, guess and check. Okay, the third and the fourth terms of an arithmetic sequence are 13 and 18, respectively. What is the 50th term? Holy cow. So, folks, the difference is 5. I can work backwards here. If I have the third term and it's 13, then the first term has to be 3. All right. So the first term was 3. Then it's going to be followed by 49 times 5. All right. So you're going to add 5, 49 more times. It's going to give you 248 is the 50th term. All right, each term, so notice how 3 times 5 minus 2 is 13. 4 times 5 minus 2 is 18. You can do 50 times 5 minus 2 to get 248. That's another way to do it. Here's some trig, all right? So in pre-calculus, you learn that sine squared x plus cosine squared x is 1. You learn that this right here means that is 1. That's Pythagorean identity, so y equals 1. Folks, so which is the graph of y equals 1? It is h. It is h. Okay, you're going to need to have pre-calculus for that. That is a fact. Last page here. I'll go over the scoring. Here's another one you're going to need pre-calc for. Period is 2 pi divided by 4. 2 pi divided by 4. Pi over 2. Okay, going to have some pre-calc for that. At a school carnival, Mike will play a game in which he would toss a penny, a nickel, and a dime at the same time. He will be awarded 3 points for each coin that lands heads face up. Let the random, so there's 2 ways to do this. If you flip a coin 3 times, you'd expect 1.5 of them, on average, 50-50 chance to be heads. 1.5 times 3 is 4.5. Or you could literally do all this. You could get 3 heads, 9 points. 2 heads, 2 heads, 2 heads, 6 points each. 3 tails, 0 points. 2 tails in that fashion, 3 points. 2 tails in that fashion, 3 points. And 2 tails in that fashion, 3 points. This is listing the sample space of heads and tails. Anyway, add up all those points. 36 divided by 8, you get 4.5. 2 different ways to get 4.5, which is 9 over 2. I taught you this in the second part of Chapter 3 in Algebra 2. The determinant is difference of the cross product. So in this case, it would be A times D minus B times C. It even tells you right here, folks. So let's look at this question. For what positive value of k, if any, is the determinant equal to k? You do k times k minus 4 times 3. So k squared minus 12 is equal to k. Move the k over. This is just like saying x squared minus x minus 12 equals 0. You're going to factor. You get k is 4 and k is a negative 3. It wants positive real answer, so it's got to be 4. Last 3, get in the 50s, it's harder for sure. I squared is a negative 1, so when it's divided by given a positive integer n such that I to the n is 1, which of the following statements about n must be true? So when n is divided by 4, the remainder is 0. So first off, if I squared is a negative 1, then I squared, or I to the 4th would be a positive 1. All right, and that is your answer there on 58. It would be F. Okay, so when a positive integer n is such that which of the following statements must be true? When n is divided by 4, the remainder is 0. It's kind of a weird worded question. Anyway, I to the 4th is 1, I to the 8th is 1, I to the 12th is 1. Oh, you want it. I totally misread that. I to the n is 1. Okay, so that it happens in multiples of 4. Okay, so I totally missed, just reread over that. Okay, that only happens in multiples of 4. All right, I to the 16th is 1, and so forth. That just comes from saying I squared is a -1. So if you square both sides, I to the 4th is positive 1. So we could have a chance of getting that. Here's another trig one. Okay, so I want sine of theta, the absolute value, to be greater than or equal to 1. Well, first off, on the unit circle is a circle with radius 1. Sine is 1 there. Sine is -1 there. Sine is 0 there. Sine is 0 there. Okay, so sine of -pi/2, which is sine of 3 pi halves, is a -1. And sine of pi/2, so seniors, this is probably one we have a chance of getting. Sine of pi/2 is 1. So it's never greater than 1, but it can be equal to 1 at the absolute value, that is, at pi halves and 3 pi halves, or pi halves and a -pi halves. So that answer is A. 60 is one we can get, though, from geometry. Ray PK bisects LPM. All right, so LPK is 4x plus 18, and LPM is 11. Two ways to do this. If you double this angle, you'll get 11x. I think that's the way to do it. So 8x plus 36 is 11x. X is 12. Plug 12 in here. It's 132 degrees. So they're both 66 degrees. Okay, the other way to do it, if the whole thing is 11x, then this right here could also be 5.5x. You can set 4x plus 18 equal to 5.5x, and you get x is 12. Plug 12 in, divide it by 2. Folks, here is how you would score that. Again, if you Google this test that I had at the front online, you can get the same information. My best overall ACT is when I got 45 out of the 60 questions right. Now, that gave me a 27, so I always look. At 45 here, questions right, gives you a, you can't see it, but it's a 28. This question is rated as a little bit harder. Okay, if you get 30 questions right, you get a 21. That's the national average. You get 36 out of 60 right, you get a 24. If you get 48 questions right, you get a 29. If you get 49 or 50, you get a 30. Anyway, that is how you can score it. All this, again, is available online. Just Google Retired ACT Test PDF. It is this version right here. So it's the 2019-2020 ACT Practice Test, the official one. And folks, those are the answers for all 60, so you can practice the test whenever you want. All right. And that should be a big benefit for you whenever you take the ACT test. This is Yak Math Videos signing out.